do hard things. Because I think any person, any human realizes that if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it. And if you don't work hard for something, you're not going to get an outcome that's really worth much. What is preventing most people from moving in the direction that they want to move is a lack of discipline. And no one wants to hear that answer. It's the harshest answer. If you want to make progress in your life, you got to have discipline. That's how you get there. Discipline is the root of all good qualities. What are you going to get without discipline? Are you going to be in good physical shape without discipline? Are you going to be financially successful without discipline? Are you going to become more intellectually powerful without discipline? Can you think of any other goals that I could possibly achieve without discipline? If you have them, please let me know.
I also think discipline gives you the most self-respect, belief in yourself, confidence. Those qualities of like, yeah, I got this. I can do something hard consistently, and I can resist temptation.
When you take a military unit or any team of any kind, you take a team of any kind and you want to give them more confidence and give them more pride, what do? You put them in challenging situations that require them to come together and be disciplined as a team, and then they become stronger, they become better, and they develop pride and confidence. Those are all positive things. So what do you do as an individual human being? It's the same exact thing. The tougher things you go through, the more confidence you're going to have. The more confidence you have, the better you're going to get. Can you go too far with that? Yes, you can. You can let your ego get out of control, and you can believe all the crap that you're told. Hey, that was great. You did great. It's like, no, actually, I did okay. But I'm going to work and try and make myself better. What's the number one thing? Discipline. That's why I wrote the Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. Discipline equals freedom. You want freedom in your life? You want to achieve what it is you want to achieve? How do you do that? You do it through discipline. You do it through hard work.
Apply discipline in every area of your life. It's not just I'm disciplined in my nutrition and fitness, but discipline in relationships, discipline in finance, discipline. So it's learning and mastering multiple skills that you're going to be disciplined at.
I agree with everything you just said except for the word master. We're not going to master anything. It's very difficult. Like, somebody asked me that on social media. How do you master discipline? I'm like, you don't. You don't. You keep working at it though. You stop being disciplined, you're gonna start to devolve. You become less, you become worse, you become weaker, you become lazier, you become more pathetic as a human being. Motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works. Do something that's hard and do it every day. That's one of the nice things about jiu-jitsu. You're gonna get choked. You're gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna get smashed. You're gonna have to tap out. Your ego is gonna get abused. Go do that. Go do that. Go for a run, lift, just do hard stuff. And that's a good way to keep that, I guess, fresh. I think like many other taskings and missions that we get in life, we have to understand why we're doing what we're doing. The book I wrote about this is called Discipline Equals Freedom. So you have to understand why you're implementing this discipline in your life. Why are you implementing discipline in your life? It's because you want to reach a level of freedom. And that's what discipline gives you. And the obvious examples that I talk about all the time, one of them is financial discipline, right? We all want to have financial freedom, of course. Everybody wants to have financial freedom. But if you want to get to financial freedom, what do you have to have? You have to have financial discipline. You have to have the discipline to work hard. You have to have the discipline to save your money. You have to have the discipline to invest your money properly. You have to have the discipline not to buy stupid things that you don't even actually need. And if you can have that kind of financial discipline, you'll end up with financial freedom. Same thing with time. Everybody wants more free time. How do you actually get more free time? You get more free time by having more disciplined time management, by making a schedule, by sticking to the schedule, by not wasting time doing things that provide you no benefit whatsoever. And if you can have that more disciplined time management, you'll end up with more free time. And this applies to everything that we do. It applies to our health. It applies to the way that we work inside of an organization. It applies to the skill sets that we have. It applies to everything that we do. So I think understanding why you need to implement discipline into your life, because there is such a massive reward for it. I think that's why I start with that. That's why I start with discipline equals freedom. It's not discipline equals pain. It's not discipline equals suffering. And look, there is pain and suffering that comes with discipline. There is, but that's not what you're doing. That's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because discipline will give you freedom in the end. I've got my recommendation that absolutely nobody wants to hear. The recommendation is start getting up a little bit earlier in the morning and start going to bed earlier at night. And the reason I say get up in the morning earlier first, because you can't just decide you're gonna fall asleep earlier, right? You'll lay in bed with your mind racing because you're not tired because you slept in. So wake up a little bit earlier in the morning and take 15 minutes, take a half an hour, do some physical exercise. Do something that you would normally have to do during the workday or when you got home from work so you can spend more time with your family. Just start getting up 20 minutes, a half an hour earlier than you normally do. Over time, if you keep kind of pushing that, you can end up waking up an hour earlier than you normally would. And that gives you time to get some workout, gives you some time to go for a run, gives you some time to spend a little bit of extra time with your family in the morning before you have to go to work. There are so many benefits to it. And what do you lose on the other end? At nighttime, instead of looking at social media for an extra hour, you'll be asleep. And it's a beneficial thing. So I would say set that alarm clock a little bit earlier. When you wake up in the morning, go and do some exercise, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever you can fit in to start with. And I think that is a great place to start building discipline. Okay, so there's really two components that I would address here. The first one is straightforward. Look, if you're saying, okay, hey, when my alarm clock goes off in the morning, I hit the snooze button 3 or 4 times, and then I finally get out of bed and I brush my teeth for 20 minutes because I don't want to start my day. I don't want to go face that hard workout. And that kind of procrastination, that kind of overthinking and having a debate in your own head and saying, well, I did work out yesterday and I'm kind of sore from that, so maybe you're rationalizing. In those situations, I just turn my brain off and I do what I'm supposed to do. I rely on discipline. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to make things happen immediately. I know that hesitation is going to bring me regret in 2 or 3 hours when I realize I wasted my morning doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. So from that component, turn off your brain and go do what you're supposed to do. That's what you need to do to overcome that procrastination. The biggest thing that you learn in the SEAL teams is that you are not as good as you think you are. There's always going to be someone that's better than you at something. And I was not the fastest guy. I was not the strongest guy. I was not the smartest guy. And so you're always surrounded by someone on your team that can run circles around you in whatever category, whether it's shooting or diving or parachuting. So it's a very humbling experience. And it's the same thing with combat. You go into combat, maybe you think, hey, this is what I was born to do, and I'm gonna dominate in this situation. And you realize you get into combat, it's a very humbling experience. So for me, my career in the military was an extremely humbling experience. As far as times where I wanted to give up or I wanted to quit, quite frankly, I never really had moments like that. I went through SEAL training. I wanted nothing more in my life than to be a SEAL. They would have had to kill me to get me to think about quitting, and I guess it wouldn't have mattered at that point. It's just what I wanted to do, and so it didn't matter what they did to me. And then being in the SEAL teams, that's the job that I wanted, and so every day to me was, look, were there hard days? Is there parts of the daily grind? You're going out you got a 120-pound rucksack on your back, and you're marching for 10 or 15 kilometers. Like, it's hard. It's not fun always, but I always knew that's the job I wanted to do, and so quitting wasn't really part of my gig.
What I've come to believe is that a lot of the time people have very, very high bars and challenges that they need to get past. I'm interested in what the price is that you have to pay in order to sort of be Jocko Willink on a daily basis.
Work, a lot of work. you know, when you're watching TV or you're, you know, looking at Instagram, or you're, you know, going out for dinner on a date and you go to a movie. I'm not doing that. I'm reading a book. I'm getting ready for a podcast. I'm writing something. I'm preparing for something. I'm talking to a client. I'm designing something. I'm thinking about a new supplement. Like, it's just kind of all the time. A guy asked me the other day, are you working more now than you were when you were in the SEAL teams? And the answer is 100%. Yes, I'm working harder now. You know, well, I should say I'm working more, because I'm working more time. No weekends, no evenings really. Luckily for me, I like what I do.